before we start, let me hit our timer too, so that way we can, I'll just pause. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another wonderful episode of That Settles the Issue. I am with Pastor R. Dallas Green. I am Dr. Amir Rashidian, and the way we usually start is, what's the issue?
Well, today we're going to talk about anxiety. That anxiety is an issue that we deal with, is this chronic uncertainty about things.
Yes. Well, I say anxiety is normal.
And maybe that's
and
where
beneficial.
we start. Because I'm not sure any of our listeners might agree with you, Dr. Mir, that anxiety is normal, especially when it results in losing your sleep or tossing and turning all night long or getting an ulcer because anxiety being normal.
Okay, so let's start with this. Anxiety is blood pressure goes up, our heart rate goes up, our pupils dilate. It's kind of the same fight or flight syndrome, right? And the heart race, you feel like there's something bad about to happen. And so now if something bad is really going to happen, that's going to serve you because you get out of that situation. So in that sense, but let me tell you another scenario. Let's say someone just gives you a phone call, and on this phone call they say that they are some authority who has just realized and it has the pleasure of informing you that you just won the lottery and you are going to be given, I don't know, $10 million, and that's going to be dispersed to you within the next 24 hours. Now, what's going to happen to you is you're going to have your heart race at that same time.
Yeah.
You're going to have your pupils dilate the same exact way, your blood pressure will go up the same exact way, and you'll have the same physiologic response. But you're not going to mind it. You don't mind that one. Just like when I tell my kids, we're going to Disney World tomorrow. They're excited. Guess what? That morning, the next morning, they're going to say, we were so excited we couldn't sleep.
Yeah. So your argument is that excitement and anxiety basically produce the same physiological result.
Correct.
You are the same physiologically if you're excited or anxious. So maybe if we shifted our anxiety and called it excitement about something,
yes,
we could see more of a positive spin on it. It's like getting up for something versus dreading something.
Exactly. So yeah, you know that the other night I had to speak to the youth on Wednesday night, and the topic there was anxiety as well. And what I said was, I said, I don't have time to prepare, but this is something I can talk about. So if you don't mind me coming and just showing up without really any preparation, then I'm happy to do it. And then in the afternoon, and a little after you and I talked Wednesday afternoon, I go, oh no, I've never showed up without preparation. Now I'm feeling anxiety about speaking about anxiety. And but what I do is I flip that and I go, that means I'm really excited. That means I'm fired up to do this. That means I'm going to be doing something I haven't done before.
Yes.
So now, if it was an imaginational issue or I'm envisioning something bad happening, certainly that's anxiety that I don't want to experience, but the body doesn't know the difference.
Yeah. Do you think that realizing that this could be of benefit to them, that I could say something would help them, actually eases that anxiety, that there's something I have to give them?
Right.
There's something in my tank that I can sort of give to the next generation.
Absolutely, because the opposite side of that would be that if I said, I bet you they're all going to come with rotten tomatoes and throw them at me when I speak.
Right.
Because that could be the thing. I'm going to stand there to try to speak. I'll forget what I need to say. I won't say anything useful. Yeah. They're going to say it was awful, and at the end of the night, they're going to throw me out of there. But I know that's not going to happen. So that's the other part of that anxiety, is if an anxiety is excitement, it's because you're focused on truth. When that anxiety is negative, you're believing a lie or something that may not even happen.
Yeah. So what would you say, Dr. Amir, that some of the patients that you see have anxieties about, and how can they sort of like begin to steer them the side of a positive emotion?
Good question. We need to see what we're focusing on. So Wednesday night I was talking to one of the students, And I said, what's your anxiety about? She said, I want to get into college.
Yeah.
Have you applied? Yes, I have. You're waiting to hear? Yes, I'm waiting to hear. What's your favorite college? She said, Biola. I said, fantastic. Very good for you. And I said, so what's the worst that can happen? She goes, I won't get in. I said, is that worth all the anxiety if you don't get in? Could you apply the following year? Could you go somewhere else and transfer? Could you wait and apply a year later?
Yeah.
Could you go somewhere else and realize that you're happier where you went as opposed to that place? And then I said, what if God is not a vending machine and God is not a genie in a bottle?
Yeah.
Do you know what the difference would be? And they were like, oh no. And I said, well, the vending machine, you have to pay the price.
Yeah. So
whatever price you're willing to pay for it, so you really want something, you pay the price, you'll get it. That's the vending machine. That's not God. And then so just raise up enough. So let's say the admissions committee was going to accept a bribe. They said, give us $1,000, you're in, we'll accept the bribe. Then you just go find the price and pay it. The genie in the bottle will give you whatever you ask, right? So you get 3 wishes and you say, I want a brand new car, poof, it's there in front of you. But the genie doesn't care if what he's given you is good for you or bad for you, if it's going to be for the ultimate good or not. But God knows everything. Yeah. God knows if you end up at Biola, things may not go well for you because there's somebody else there who may influence you a certain way or something else might happen. He's got the perspective. So for us to really trust and say, I'm going to put my faith in God. I'm asking you, Lord, for an acceptance into this college. That's where I really want to go. I feel like that's where you want me to go too. But if that's not where you want me to go, not my will, but yours be done.
So at the heart of it, Dr. Beer, it seems like there's a surrender and a submission to the will of God, believing his will is better, it's best, it's going to glorify him. So really with my life, I want to glorify God, whether that means I'm going to be well or sick, whether I get into college or not, that I really want to surrender my will to his.
Yes.
And then I find rest.
Peace and rest.
Do you think the battle has to do with control? Like who is in control?
Absolutely.
Because I want to be in control of that decision. Right. I want to submit my application. I want to get in. I want to have no problems.
If I'm honest, I want the genie in the bottle.
But the reality is there is no genie in the bottle.
There is no genie in the bottle. And what I want for me is not always what's best for me. There's been plenty of times where I really wanted a certain something in my life and it was denied me. And later I was grateful that it was.
Yes. Like Brandy, she came along at the right time.
That's right. Absolutely. My wife, for sure.
Yes.
Here's why I think it's hard for people to accept that anxiety is normal. And it's also hard for them to flip that label of it and say, I must just be really excited or I must be really fired up about what's about to happen. And I think there is an addictive part to being anxious.
Okay.
We get addicted to the hormones and the physiological changes that happen in our body, and then we can't break that cycle. And we go deeper and deeper and deeper. It's almost like, I would say it's almost like sugar. The data shows that when we eat something sweet like chocolate, we get a dopamine release in our brain. And dopamine is dope. And it makes you feel good for a short period of time. Yeah. And you say, the next day you say, I want to feel like that. I know what did it. It was the chocolate. I'm going to have another piece of chocolate. You will have to eat twice the amount of chocolate to get the same dopamine release you got from one piece of chocolate. And the next day you need 4 pieces to get the same. And eventually, you'll never get that dopamine release and you'll be eating chocolate all day.
So when you think of the student who wants to get into Biola and feels anxious about it, once they get into Biola, they'll be anxious about whether the guy likes them, or they'll be anxious about whether they do well in the class, or whether they get the right kind of dorm or housing situation.
That's right.
So all these things produce anxiety in the heart because there's a desire to sort of be in control of those things we're not in control of.
Exactly.
And maybe I take some chocolate because it makes me feel okay as I wait it out.
That's right. Then you have to detox from the chocolate. Take a week off and then have another piece of chocolate and it'll do that. You take a week off, 1 piece of chocolate every 7 days, you'll feel good. Gambling is addictive. Would you agree?
Oh yeah.
And plenty of people lose everything in gambling, but it's the same physiologic response, because when they put out, let's say they bet $10,
Yeah.
and they're excited because they're like, that can turn into $20.
Yeah.
But then the next time they bet, $10 doesn't do it for them.
Yeah.
They need to bet $100 to get the same feeling. They're addicted to the anxiety. See, we don't really, we go, there's no way I'm addicted to the anxiety of whether this illness is going to take my life. But your body doesn't know the difference. Your body acts the same exact way. Just like the gambler, just like the adrenaline junkie, right? Where first they feel adrenaline by just driving fast on the road.
Mm-hmm.
But now they need to get in a race car and go extremely fast. And now they need to get on a plane and jump out of it with a parachute to get the same adrenaline. They're addicted to that same physiologic feeling of excitement.
So what would you say, Dr. Mir, to our listeners as maybe they're addicted to watching news programs,
Mm-hmm.
or they're addicted to some kind of exercise, like they're addicted to running.
Yes.
Like, without my run, I can't really function.
Yes.
What would you say to a person who just has a recurring pattern to kind of get that feeling of excitement, and they realize this thing's got some power over them?
Yeah, well, you know what? It comes down to what truth is, the ultimate truth. Because Jesus said, when you know the truth, it'll set you free. And the truth is, nothing's going to be as good as being with God.
Yeah.
Nothing's going to feel as good or be as good or be as fulfilling and restorative and powerful as being in the presence of God. And as long as all those things are based on truth. Because if you don't like the anxiety you're feeling, you're believing a lie.
Yeah.
You have a false belief. When the anxiety feels good, you're in a good place. The result has to also be good. Focus on the truth, which is the Word of God.
I guess that settles the issue.
I would agree.
Till next time.